household dance. All right, Joe. And audience, because I have some time. I've got some time. I'm working on this. Can you imagine when I do things, I tend to go overboard and get a little too
Never.
Never. Joe, and I hope to God you have an answer, because then we have to change this topic to counsel Joe on how to be a better husband. But that is how to planning a getaway with the wife. And I kind of want your take on what you do, what you think about, how you even one day could do something special, those kind of things. Because I want to get away at least for a night with my wife. And I'm already in the $2,000 range, because that's kind of how I roll with things. And not that I can afford it. So I'm like, I got to earn $2,000 before the end of September to make this happen. But like, yeah, what do you do?
So my wife doesn't trust people to watch our kids, and they're not quite old enough to be independent and be left alone just yet. So we haven't really left them for more than like a day trip. But yeah. So we've left our kids with the in-laws for, I think the longest we've left them with them is like 8 hours or something.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't judge. That's ridiculous.
And so
wait. Side note, I can't remember. I think we talked about are your in-laws like my parents and in-laws, where they think they can't handle kids anymore? Or is that you and your wife's decision? You didn't want to be away that long?
My father-in-law would be fine. My mother-in-law gets overstimulated. And so, yeah, that's just what she says.
Yeah, fair enough. The answer is basically yes. We won't have to go into details. Basically, yeah. Our families are similar.
Yeah, so we've taken day trips, little jaunts. I mean, 8 hours is enough time to like head down to Atlanta or head up to Knoxville or Nashville. We don't do it often, but we do it every now and again. And we will do an activity there and some food and then come home. So
yeah, I'd say I want a little more than that.
I figured
I have an idea. You want to plan a weekend away? I will be more than happy to come sit that 1,000 up, 1,000 down internet that you got and take care of your kids for 2 days. Because I do not, and my wife would be right on top of that too. She's like, kids, let's go. I got this. So I'm just saying, because you and I are in the same. But when I had my first kid, we wanted to get away, and he was young. I think Erin was pregnant. We're like, man, we know from the first one we tied up for a long time. I can't remember if it was a birthday trip for me. I can't remember exactly how it played out, but it was this quick little turnaround in Biloxi. Biloxi's about 6 hours away from me. It's a place on the coast where you can go gamble. We love it. And I think we had 2 nights here. So we drove down, got there somewhat late, gambled, spent the night, spent the whole day there. And then I think we had another night, and then we came back the next day. So we gambled some and then came back. I can't remember if it was faster than that or not, but he was definitely old enough that a bottle and everything worked. And the thing was, both sets of grandparents were fighting over who got to keep them. My wife's mother was alive. Now, my wife's mother, if she was alive, there would be no challenge to her, as long as health was not an issue, because she would hurt herself to take care of the kids. She loved that. My father-in-law, we kind of established a no common sense thing there, and the kids. But my parents, with my son, all over it. Anytime they keep him, they could keep him. But as soon as I had a second kid, it was too much. We don't want her. I won't go into all that right now. But yeah, I mean, the best they can take one right now overnight. Anyway, I digress. Random kid did find us live on a Friday, so thank you for coming out and hanging out. So I definitely want to sleep somewhere. I want to be away. I want to have, honestly, as much time as I can. And that's my problem, because we do this once, maybe twice a year now. And we had, as some point, had an influx of cash. So we were doing like a trip alone, 2 trips alone, and then a trip with the family, different adventures like that. And I mean, nothing major, but when you're talking about $1,000 or $2,000 each time, that adds up pretty fast.
Oh,
so
yeah.
while you and I both work middle class job. Did you realize you're still middle class, Joe? Did you realize that?
In this economy, I'm not middle class anymore.
You're low class,
Right?
low class Holiday Inn. Anyway, no, that's not how it goes. Yeah, I mean, the median income is like 70 grand. I'm like, I busted my butt for 20 years to try. I'm not even there yet, but to try to make $100,000 a year, because my God, that'd be so amazing. And by the time I got close, which is the median, I'm around 70, is like, why am I still where I'm at 20 years ago? Struggling sometimes. And oh my God. I mean, it's less of a struggle than making 40. Absolutely. Anyway, that being said, it's not why we digress. So, Joe, how do I get from, like, we were looking at trips to Vegas, New York City. Yeah, and I tend to go a little bit bigger on the night. So, like, oh, we can leave and travel and then have more time there. So we can leave like a Wednesday evening. So I have Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, we come home Sunday. Well, that's that's what, 4 nights. That's a lot. 4 nights, 5 days, right? I know that I'm pushing a lot and I can probably cut it down more. Because the reason we do it that way is Thursdays, Aaron's covered typically to not have to stay with people. And then we'd only have to ask somebody to take off one day, Friday. And then that would basically give us a long weekend is the idea. Oh, there's a good future question. We'll put it in. So yeah, I'd like advice from all the listening audience, from everybody who's putting in, I've heard of a place called cheaptickets.com. And of course, I'll probably cut it down to where we'll travel on Thursday, spend Friday and Saturday having fun, and travel back Sunday sometime. Cut it a little time. I might even cut it down to less than that, for cost factors. I do try to, when it's spontaneous, like now. We're not going now. We're trying to go to end of September, when the weather changes. But that's still kind of spontaneous to plan it. I try to look at driving distances, but rarely do I get my wife to like engage. Like, she's like, sure, whatever, it's fine. Now, for our anniversary, we tend to start planning in the next couple of months. Our anniversary is in January, so we tend to start planning that so we can get an idea of cost and bonuses and those kind of things. Anyway, I ramble, Joe, but yeah, man, everything I ran down, including Jamaica, by the way, including Jamaica. So here was the list. It was Chicago, because I love Chicago, and I know some stuff about Chicago. New York City, which is one of the most expensive. Vegas is the most expensive right now, which is odd because the last time I tried to plan a trip, it was either go to Harris, which is drivable, or Vegas, and Vegas was actually cheaper with flights and everything.
Yeah,
to go
a lot of times flights to Vegas are cheaper because they're subsidized by the casinos.
It's not the flights right now. The casino rates have gone
really
way up. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they're taking a big hit because of the economy. People don't have extra money to spend on gambling.
And the flood, I don't know if y'all saw the floods last year. Vegas got hit by a lot of stuff.
Okay.
COVID, and then economy, and then, like, when I say floods, it was, I think it was Caesars. Oh, Caesars got hacked is what it was. All the Caesars chains got hacked and they went down for days. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So that's probably it. Yeah, so Vegas, New York, Miami, because she's never been to Miami. Biloxi, of course, we know how to go there. And Harris. And right now we're leaning towards Miami, and we'll have to take a short flight. But flights, I can get some really easy flights that are decent, not Spirit Airlines. This show is not brought to you by Spirit, and honestly, never will, because I did not enjoy riding on Spirit at all. So did it Caesars got hacked? Did it cause a huge recall on the salads? This is not bad dad joke time, random kid. It's not bad dad joke time. All right, so I digress, but how do I get more? How do we get Joe more into my life, where he can at least take his wife away for a night and remember what it was like to date her? But also,
my wife has been saving a bunch of websites that she's been hearing about for like getting cruise deals and things like that. Like, there was this one website, I can't remember what the website was, but she found or she heard about a website where it has like cruises that are going to be leaving like within the next week or something, but they haven't filled up the cabin, and so they drop
the prices drastically.
And so it's got it keeps a watch on those so that you can get stuff. And according to the video she watched, and your mileage may vary, because this is like best case scenario, I'm sure, was what they put into the video. Like, you can get like 85% off on the cruise by booking last minute, but that also assumes you have a degree of flexibility in your life that you could actually
Right.
do that. So,
Yeah. And see, that's the interesting thing, right? When you have little kids, you don't. When they get older, you might have some, but when they're gone, you do. But all your money's gone because you spent 20 years raising kids.
yeah.
You really need that last minute save price. I definitely, one of my goals in life is to be able to do what I want with my life. And so I am trying to retweak, and I find that balance between stuff now. Like, here's the biggest thing one of the biggest things that changed from last year to this year, that I could just go, hey, I got a couple thousand saved up. Plus, I always have my emergency fund. So I'm like, this is my fun money saved up. I can go. Well, when you buy a motorcycle, that's $300+ a month. That eats into your going and having fun time sometimes. So there's that. But yeah, everybody, if you want to hit us up, show at or not show, show at WNN. No, WNN show. That's it. I knew I got it wrong. You could have said something, so just waiting for me to hammer it out to then put it up on the screen. WNN show at gmail.com. Email us, of course, all the socials out there. And if you get Froggy, man, I'm in Miami. I want Charles to come see me and give me the WNN Scott Shakir experience, where we'll have a drink together. Well, no. That we have to split. /wise_nerdy. That helps the show out. But you want to help old Charlie boy out, you can go to Linktree/RGOP42. And that just goes straight to me. Joe doesn't get to touch it.